Hey everyone, this is Todd Zola here, the principal owner of Mastersball.com, and I'm going to talk today about one of the products available in the Platinum subscription service. Specifically, it is Start, the standings and roster tracker. Sorry about that, standings and roster tracker. It's not draft software. It will track real-time standings and it will track rosters, but it won't make suggestions for you based on standings, etc., based on rosters, who you should pick next, that sort of thing. So it's not a replacement for a Rotolab or something like that. It's simply a way to track slow drafts. People like to call them email drafts or relaxed drafts or extended drafts. Something where there's hours between picks, 2, 4, 8 hour between picks, etc. It can be used for real-time drafts, for 60-second drafts. You really need to be up on the up on how to use it, having practiced in the past. It's really built to handle tracking of the so-called slow draft. Not Fantrax has launched their slow drafts. The National Fantasy Baseball Championship has started their draft championship contest, so the 50-round slow draft. That's kind of where it's designed to score 5x5 slow drafts. So where do we begin? Let's see. It begins with setup. We'll go to the setup page, and here you enter the number of teams that are in the league. We'll pretend it's an NFBC DC draft, so there are 15 teams. Now you can put up to 20. It'll handle up to 20 teams for work leagues and home leagues and things of that nature. Now you enter the team names. Ted, Joe, whatever, Elaine, whatever it may be, whatever always has a team. Who's on first. You get the idea, and we'll just kind of make it simple. I'm not making it so simple, but it could be symbols. If Prince were in the league, he could have his symbols, and whatever, J and H. No, H is H didn't make it in the league, and J. Okay, let's just get rid of the J. Make J Joey. All right, we wasted far too much of your valuable time putting in silly names. All right, next up, we go to hitters. It's fueled with my projections, Mastersball projections. I update the software every week. For those that are in a draft taking longer than a week, hit me up on the message board, and if you know how to use VLOOKUPs, we can talk you through transferring the picks to the latest version. Maybe I'll even put out a tutorial on that later on, but we'll start with just this. So the hitters are here, the pitchers are here. I should mention that they are the rank by my 5x5 pricing. Here is the standings page. You can see the teams are listed. Everybody's tied. The category totals and the category average totals. We'll revisit those in a bit, and if you're tracking rosters, that's this page here. Teams across the top, positions across the bottom here. There's room for 27 reserves, which not so coincidentally matches the number of reserves in the NFBC Draft Championship format, where you're drafting 50 players. So team number 1, you are on the clock. Team number 1 selects Ronald Acuna Jr. So you put the 1 in the team box. If you're tracking the rosters, you need to put the position, outfield, and since there are 5 outfielders, he's the first drafted for team number 1. He's outfield 1. Catchers need to put C1, C2. Pitchers need to put P1, P2 up to P9. As it says in the instructions, we can go back here, maybe a little small for you. You need to use UT. You need to use corner and middle, and For the reserves, there are R1, R2, R3, etc. At some point, I'm going to figure out a way to program it so you don't have to do that. But currently, it just uses straight VLOOKUP. So outfield 1 gets VLOOKUP to outfield 1, and everything gets put in the appropriate spot based on that. So that's what you need to do. We can show you so far that team number 1, Ted's blowing away the pack. He needs some pitching help, but Ted's clearly leading the offensive categories. There are his totals, and they're the average totals, which right now are obviously just the one player. We'll go back to hitters. The other thing I want to show you is you enter your team number. So we enter Ted's team number, and here it shows the number of points per position, points per category, and his running totals. Team number 2 is up next, and they take Christian Yelich. Let's say team number 3 takes Mike Trout. Team number 4 settles for Mookie Betts. Okay, just to show you real quick, the names are showing up here. The standings are populating with the stats here. Everybody, again, we haven't had a pitcher yet. Team number 5 opts to take Garrett Cole, figuring he's going to sign in a good park with a good offense. So right now he's projected as a free agent. Once he signs, these numbers could change based on the park, based upon the run support, which will affect wins. So the team number 5 is assuming that good things will happen, so taking Cole. Team 6 also wants a pitcher. They take Jacob deGrom. They're a glutton for punishment. Let's see, hitters. Just want to fill some stuff in, just show you what happens. So Francisco Lindor. The 8th team will take Juan Soto. The 9th team really has a thing for Alex Bregman, so they'll take Alex Bregman. The 10th team, let's see. Well, at this point, it's a good point to show you. As you can see, things aren't going to go chalk. You're not going to. Everybody obviously isn't going to draft according to my projections. They're going to season them with their own feelings. So it's going to get kind of hard to find players. Or it's going to just get confusing when you get all these taken players intermixed with who's available. You like the available players to sort of be grouped together. The way to do that is pretty simple. You just put the cursor in the first box under team and just sort. You can sort up or down, ascending, descending, it really doesn't matter. It pulls all the drafted players together, and you can toggle down and make them disappear, as it were, and now you have the drafted players that are still available. Some more, while we're talking about sorting, some other tricks you can do. If you want to figure out the highest number of stolen bases still left on the board, the first thing you do is you order them by rank. The second thing you do is you go to stolen bases, the category that you're interested in, and you sort descending. And now you sort by team again and toggle down, and Trey Turner has got the most. This is supposed to be 39. I'm ahead of myself. I did a practice run, and we'll explain about that in a moment. But Trey Turner and Adalberto Mondesi are tied with 39 steals for the most. You can do the same thing with all the categories, but you can also do it with positions. You want to know the top ranked position on the board, keeping in mind that they're listed in those in multiple position eligibility are listed as such, so it can get a little bit messy or confusing when you're looking. But the first thing again is to do it by the value. Then you do it by the position, and then you do the team to get rid of or to clump them all together, and you then sort. Again, this is where it gets a little confusing because neither of these shortstops obviously are better than Trey Turner, but there could be a multiple eligibility player that jumps in, so it becomes a little bit more tricky to find out the highest rank by position, which is, if you're doing a slow draft, you have the time to to see if any of these catchers are at some point Grandal with catcher first base eligibility could be the highest ranked catcher on the board, and he may not appear that way unless you take a look at the group in total. So it's one of the again saying it's not necessarily great for on the fly, at least if you want to sort by positions. It's really good if you have time in between picks. Should have mentioned earlier, well, we can mention it now. We're talking about sorting. If you're in an NL or AL or NL only league, and you don't want to be have all the cluttered up of the other leagues, you can sort by league. So now you can see just the American League players, and the National League ones are obviously at the bottom, but they're out of the way. You don't care about them. So those are just some tricks. Now going back to what we talked about with Trey Turner in stolen bases, if for some ungodly reason you don't agree with my projections, why, I don't know, he says, tongue-in-cheek, you can change them. If you think Trey Turner is going to steal 49 bases, you can override it. And to show you, let's put Trey Turner on team 1, just because that's what we have showing. And let's put the shortstop in. And if you notice right now, the 15 points, 72 steals, if I give him 49 steals, it jumps up to 82, so it gets captured. And the standings also reflect the 82 steals, so you can override. If you're going to do batting average, you need to do at bats and hits. You can't just change the average. If you're going to do ERA and WHIP, you need to do the innings, the hits, walks, and runs, depending upon which statistic you're actually using, and that it will then get captured. Okay, let's see. What are we forgetting? Am I forgetting anything here? We can show you some updated standings. Tracks hitting, pitching points, the total. It tracks the number of hitters drafted, the number of pitchers drafted, and the number of reserves. Okay, that's the next point I want to mention. Reserves. It's currently programmed so that reserves do not get counted in the total stats. And if you want that to be, if you don't want them to be counted, you have to put the positions in, because the trigger for not having them count is having the position be R1, R2, beginning with R. It looks for that R, and if it finds that R, it doesn't include the stats in the standings. So for some reason, Team 1 is afforded 3 draft picks really early before some teams even picked. So they're going to take Adalberto Mondesi. Now, we'll show you real quick. If you want him to be on your active roster, if you want him to show up on the rosters, you need to put middle infield. And now he'll show up on the roster. He'll show up, the stats will be counted regardless. So we'll take a look now. There's 78 homers and 121 steals. If we take away the middle infield designation, the stats stay the same. You can track the stats without tracking positions. Now, we'll note now that there's 78 homers, 121 steals. If you are tracking, if you're putting him on reserve, Team 1 is silly. They draft him, but he's hurt early in the season, so he's going on reserve. He's R1. You'll note that his home runs are no longer, his stats no longer get counted. Let's see, 61 and 82. So we'll go to the standings. Team number 1, 61 and 82. Indeed, the statistics are not counted. That's with the R there, and we'll show you too. He gets put under reserve. I think that's pretty much it as far as handling or using the software. It's Excel based, no macros. It's best for Windows. Some Mac can use it. It's not. I can't promise that Macs can use it. Most of the hidden formulas are viable now on the latest Mac software. There was a time where some of the functions weren't usable on Mac, but at this point I believe that the most of them are. Again, no macros, which helps. One thing we'll show just to get an idea. I don't have the rosters, but I did we did a mock draft for a magazine. I may or may not have won the draft, but then I am using my own numbers, so I better win. Let's see. So this is what full standings would look like with hitting and pitching points and the total, the category totals. These are ordered by the team number, so you can see the totals, and everybody drafted 14 hitters, 9 pitchers with no reserves. And some people like to draft towards an average or like to know where they're headed for a category, what their average is, if they do they need to draft a more or less, not just not to mention drafting towards a target number. So here are the category total averages. I don't believe in drafting towards a target. I don't believe in drafting towards an average, but that's a story for another day. Give the people what they want. This is a popular piece of software from the Mastersball collection of toys. You can subscribe to Mastersball Platinum. I've already launched the 2020 subscription. It launched on November 1st. The first set of projections is there. I'm starting to roll in some content. Content will be rolled in continuously throughout the drafting season and into next season as well. Some testimonials. The several NFBC overall champions have used Mastersball. I don't know. I can't know that they use Start, but they purchase and they use Mastersball as one of their sources. Home leagues, work leagues, friends leagues, etc. And the Mastersball also was a source for the 2019 Great Fantasy Baseball Invitational Champion, which just so happened to be me. I've been told I don't market myself well enough, so there's trying to market myself to all my friends that pull me inside and they say, dude, you gotta market yourself better. Well, they don't really call me dude because I don't kind of look like a dude. Anyway, there you go. To subscribe to Mastersball, www.mastersball.com. You need to register first. Register a username. That's free. Register. There you see. There I can market. I can kind of market, sort of, kind of. Log in, register. Once you're logged in, subscribe now and purchase the product. And assuming everything goes through seamlessly, you have immediate access to the projections and everything else through Platinum Download. Thanks for your attention. If you have any questions, the best way to contact me is to register and go to our forum and post a question onto our forum. I promise an answer within 24 hours. It's usually within 24 minutes, sometimes within 24 seconds. It's better than email, better than Twitter. It's a most convenient way. I know it's archaic. I'm old. I'm a Luddite, but it's for me the easiest way to communicate back and forth in the forum. Everything's there. I don't lose anything, and we'll get your questions answered. Thanks for your time. Hope to subscribe. Happy to answer any questions, and good luck regardless of what you choose to use as your sources for fantasy baseball this season.